Alright guys, this is how I study for Amboss. I learned this from my tutor. Absolutely amazing. So let's assume we did these 5 questions or 7 questions, but let's assume we did these 5 questions together and now we're on number 8, right? Let's just assume. Highlight the question and read the question. Administration of this drug every 90 minutes is most likely to be beneficial in the treatment of which of following conditions. So which drug when secreted in 90 minutes is beneficial in this treatment? You read it twice. Administration of this drug every 90 minutes is most likely to be beneficial in treatment of which of following conditions. And then you read the demographics. This is the demographics. An investigator studying a drug that acts on a G protein coupled receptor in the pituitary gland. It's a drug that acts on a G protein. You don't know exactly which drug yet, but you're reading. Binding of this drug to this receptor leads to increased production of inositol triphosphate IP3 to the basophilic cells in the anterior pituitary. This tells me that it's most likely GQ, okay? Even though I don't know what we're talking about yet. Administration of this drug every 90 minutes is most likely to be beneficial in the treatment of which of following conditions. I have no idea, right? But here's the thing, pituitary gland. So let's look at what does the pituitary work with? Does it work with prostate? I don't think so. I don't think so. Anovulatory infertility? It could. Central diabetes insipidus? It could. That's actually antidiuretic hormone and oxytocin, right? So that's pituitary. Yeah, that could. Beta blocker toxicity? Probably not. Variceal bleeding? Probably not. Hyperkalemia? It could. I guess it could. No, that's for TSH, TRH, and then TSH from the. So TSH and then the thyroid. So hyperkalemia? It could. Okay. It doesn't necessarily matter that you know the answer. So let's click on G protein coupled receptor, GQ. That causes an increase in IP3 and DAG, right? So infertility. So let's go to this one. Oh, right. Look, every 90 minutes. What does that remind you of? That reminds me of the pulsations. So that's probably the answer. The pulsations of gonadotropin releasing hormone. I wouldn't have even remembered this word, but I know that pulsations leads to like, pulsations, you know? If it's like continuous, it'll cause amenorrhea or whatever, right? Okay, we got it right. That's not the point. Pulsatile administration of GnRH is a first treatment for women and anovulatory fertility. All you have to remember is this. Pulsatile administration of GnRH treats infertility by increasing FSH and LH. Boom! That's all you need to remember. Literally, it's all you need to remember. Go to the next one. Central diabetes insipidus. Central diabetes insipidus can be treated with desmopressin, a synthetic ADH analog that binds to V2 receptor. Boom! That's all you need to know. Central diabetes insipidus is treated with desmopressin, which is an ADH analog. So you should technically know desmopressin is ADH analog, but you could. Central diabetes insipidus is treated with desmopressin, an ADH analog that binds the V2 receptor. Boom! That's all you need to know. Prostate cancer. You go to the next one. You can either go this one or this one. We can go to both of them. Let's go to this one first, because it's one of our choices. Hyperkalemia can be treated with insulin, which increases intracellular potassium uptake. Boom! So insulin causes potassium to be pulled into the cell. Stop right there. And that's it. Insulin acts by stimulation of a receptor tyrosine kinase rather than a G protein coupled receptor. So you already know that right there. So look, so insulin can cause the uptake of potassium, leading to insulin can cause the uptake of potassium through receptor tyrosine kinase receptors, leading to hyperkalemia. Boom! That's all you need to remember. You don't even need to go to prostate cancer anymore. What you need to do now is go back and ask yourself this. Now tell me about this one. I already looked at the answer, right? I've done this before. Now you say, tell me the answer. Epithelial growth factor receptor. Overproduction, epithelial growth factor receptor. I did not even remember the answer, but here's the beauty of it. I only did this question a second ago, right? Epidermal growth factor receptor is a tyrosine kinase receptor. It causes proliferation survival of cells. Overexpression could cause colorectal cancer. Boom. Now tell me about VEGF. Causes vasculogenesis and angiogenesis. Causes veins to be formed. Boom. Okay, so now you go to TNF-alpha. TNF-alpha causes systemic inflammation. Boom. That's it. That's all you need to know. Now you say, tell me about this one. And you go, antagonism at acetylcholine receptors. Even I forgot it at this point, okay? But the point is this. The point is, it's an antihistamine. No, first generation antihistamine blocks H1 receptors. That's it. That's all you need to know. First generation antihistamine blocks H1 receptors. So antagonism at acetylcholine receptors. First generation antihistamine blocks H1 receptors. And that's it. Causes dry mouth. Boom. That's all you need to know. Next one. Tell me about this one. Antagonism at histamine receptor. First generation antihistamines, in addition to H1 receptor antagonist action, also the potential acetylcholine receptor blocking action. Oh, so what it's saying is this: antagonism of acetylcholine receptor. So first generation antihistamine combined with H1 receptor causes acetylcholine receptor blockade, which leads to dry mouth. Boom. That's all you need to know. This one. Tell me about this one. Antagonism of antihistamine. So antihistamine treats rashes. That's it. That's all you need to know. And causes vasodilation, spontaneous and vasodilation, like vasodilation. So antihistamine, H1 receptor blockers treat rashes. That's it. Next one. So 6, antagonism at the alpha adrenergic receptor. Antagonism at the alpha adrenergic receptor causes decreased salivation at the salivary gland. That's all you need to know. Then you go to this one. Now tell me about this one. So elevated serum insulin-like growth factor 1 concentration is caused by elevated growth hormone, which is diagnostic of acromegaly. Boom, acromegaly. Next one. Now tell me about this one. Elevated urine cortisol. It's Cushing syndrome. So elevated urine cortisol occurs in Cushing syndrome, can cause bitemporal hemianopsia, but it also has central obesity and abdominal striae. Boom. Now tell me about this one. Elevated serum prolactin can be caused by a prolactinoma, but also causes gynecomastia and hypogonadotropic hypogonadism, but it can also cause bitemporal hemianopsia and headache, and and erectile dysfunction. Boom. Now tell me about this one. Okay, we already did 3 of those. Now you go to the next one. Now you go to this one. Cardiac output equals 4 or 5 times renal blood flow. Renal blood flow equals renal plasma flow divided by 1 minus hematocrit. Okay, and renal plasma flow equals urinary PAH times renal urine, urine flow divided by plasma pH. Boom. Now what you do is you go back down, go this way, and you do the next question. And so you just go through the questions. The slower you go, the better. I'm trying to keep the video short. It's already 6 minutes. So you got to keep going back and forth, because when you do this one, you might go back to this one and not remember all 5 of them or all 3 of them, right? So you have to keep doing that. Go like this and go like that and keep doing that. And then you will not get tired, I promise. You will. When you remember the answers, you're going to get so happy you're not going to realize you're tired. Okay, so here's the thing. Once you're done with this, at the end of the day, you have to go back and do all the ones that were like the small numbers, like the 2%, the 11%. Well, I've done the 11%, but like the little ones, the ones you haven't done. And do that, and you might even at the same time go through the other ones real quick. And that's the beauty of it. All you have to do is 80 questions per day, 10 biostats questions per day. With the biostats, you don't have to do it this way. With the biostats, you do the questions, write down the formulas or the main points from those questions on a big cardboard or a piece of paper that you can just pick up and look at it multiple times a day. Okay, you do 10 biostats questions, then you do 30 system-specific questions. Let's say lymphoreticular. You pick 30 questions from the entire, however many there are, like 300, 200, whatever many questions. You do those 30. After that, then you do 40 random from the entire question bank. And that's it. You do 80 questions per day. At the end of the day, go back to the beginning and start doing all the ones in between that you didn't do. Obviously, like not for like the calculation ones. Like why would you go back? Why would you go to, this one? Where is it? Why would you do this one? Why would you go to 4? You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't do those. So that's what I'm trying to say. That's how you have to do it. Now, sure, if you're really smart, you can like go like maybe back 1, even, you know what I'm saying? You can do that. But in my opinion, you got to go back 5, including the 1. So you got to go back 4, like this. And so if you do that, I promise you're going to get to it. Look, we just got through 1 question together. We can do 80 of those per day, okay? You can do it. This is the way you're going to remember everything. And that's why they say you have to also do the other question choices, because you actually learn from them. Like you learn, cortisol, Cushing syndrome, prolactin, prolactinoma, gynecomastia, erectile dysfunction, all those things, axial resistance. Increased axial resistance. That's something else. Axial resistance. Transmembrane resistance. So capacitance, opposite of resistance. You notice demyelination. And you start doing it, and you start like, whoa, and you're not just memorizing the correct answer. You're memorizing basically all of them except like the last 2, and you'll do that at the end of the day when you have time, and don't sweat those ones. That's the point. You don't have to go in here and look at all this stuff. If anything, just look at this so you can know how to orient this question. You know what I'm saying? Just like that. And that's the beauty of it. That's it.